All right, guys, I'm going to show you a med ball routine that we use for the upper body. We've borrowed a lot of these pieces from legendary strength coach Buddy Morris. So we will use this as a part of a dynamic warm-up to heat up tissues. We'll also use this for recovery and restoration. So after really intensive training sessions, we'll come in the next day and we'll do light tempo work trying to promote blood flow to the muscle, just get some nice concentric contractions to break up stiffness. So we really want to keep kind of a brisk pace. If you're going to use it for tempo work, I'd actually recommend timing each piece that I'm going to show you. So you'll do a set amount of work, maybe 20 seconds of work, followed by 20 seconds of rest, and you'll just rotate through continually. If you're using it as a warm-up, we just want to keep a brisk pace and get through it as quickly as we can. So the first thing we're going to do is take the med ball. A lot of these are low amplitude, so there's not a lot of motion involved. It's just controlling that motion and working through it repetitively. So the first thing we're going to do is just an overhead toss. It's very gentle, okay? So we're going to stand in very close proximity to the wall. What I'm looking for is that the athlete isn't overextending. We're keeping this anchored down, okay? And then we're just going to gently tap into the wall. Typically, we'll perform 20 repetitions of each of these movements, okay? The next thing we're going to do is perform a chest pass or a press into the wall. So again, when we finish, we want the arm to be completely extended and the elbow to be completely extended, and then we want to catch in towards the chest. So it's going to look something like this. Okay. From there, we'll take the ball and we'll start to go through some dynamic shoulder mobilizations. So we can drop right into a halo with the med ball. We've practiced this before with the shoulder rock as well as with the kettlebell. Okay, so we can come into a halo. Then we can just work on internal, external rotation. So we're going to come into a bus driver where we're rotating palm up, palm down. Okay, elbows should be extended, trunk should be stable. Okay, from there, we can go ahead and start to work just large whole body circles. So we want to hinge and open, hinge and open, hinge and open. We always want to repeat in the opposite direction. From there, we can start to work diagonal patterns. So remember, these diagonal patterns, they have a very high level of activation for the rotator cuff. So we're going to start with the ball at the knee, top palm, thumb is facing down, and then we're going to reverse. Okay? Thumbs are down, open up. Thumbs are down, open up. We want to repeat, thumb down, open up on the other side. From there, we'll just perform a slam down onto the ground. Now again, we're trying to keep the trunk rigid. Let the motion come from extension at the shoulder. And we just want to get into a rhythm with this. Next, we'll drop down and we'll just perform a chest pass. We're pressing and catching. We can even turn this into a single arm unilateral movement. From there, we'll actually drop down onto the ground and we'll just perform a pullover. So with the pullover, we're trying to flatten the spine into the ground. Knees are slightly bent, feet are planted. We're just going to raise up and then touch. Raise up and then touch. Raise up and then touch. Again, just to speed up the process, I'm only demonstrating a few reps, but our target is about 20 repetitions of each of these. Okay, from here, we're actually going to come into a push-up sequence. So there's a lot of progressions and regressions for this particular activity. So I'll show you the most basic, which would just be performing a push-up and touching the chest of the ball. It's going to roll on me because we're on an unlevel surface here. So we're just going to drop and press. That would be for athletes that had some type of shoulder limitation. For the rest of us, what we want to do, if it's appropriate, we're going to take the ball, we're actually going to root one arm to the ball, and then we're going to go through a push-up sequence. We just want to lower to where the chest is even with the ball. We don't need to go into those really vulnerable positions where the arm travels past the body. The next thing we can do is just create a sequence where we are rolling the ball in between the arms. And then finally, what we can do is just an elbow tap. This is a great dynamic shoulder stability challenge because the ball is obviously unstable. So what we want to do is get into a high plank position. Okay, we're going to stabilize. We're going to raise one arm off, gently touch. Raise one arm off and gently touch. The final progression would be a shoulder tap into a push-up into a shoulder tap. So we're going to have the athlete drop down, press, open, touch. Press, open, touch. Press, open, touch. And we would repeat that on both sides. The final thing that we would do is just get a little bit of anti-rotation. We're going to just perform a low amplitude rotational toss, trying to actually stabilize the spine and resist movement. What we're really concerned with is on the catch, when the ball returns, that the athlete is able to brace and resist and then return. We don't want to see where the athlete is really sloppy grabbing the ball like that, okay? It's a stable motion. Arms, one palm is underneath, the other palm is supportive. It's a low amplitude toss. We're rooting to the floor, butt is tight, abs are tight. Okay, so you can see this is a great way to improve core temperature, gets a lot of blood flow into the musculature and the upper extremities. So it's a good way to kind of flush the system, break up stiffness for recovery, or just prepare the body to train.